All right, welcome in another episode of Off-Season Grades, and we're going to put Randolph Childress to the test here right away with his favorite team in the ACC, the Duke Blue Devils. Listen, they were fun to watch last year. I mean, they had everything, right? They had Cooper Flag, they had Con Knipple, they had Kamal Maluach, they had everything. Proctor, all those guys are gone. They
Right.
got to the Final Four, which was great for Shire, especially after the year before losing NC State in the Elite Eight, but they blew that lead in the second half to Houston in the national semifinals, which I know will eat John Shire up for a while. He'll have a hard time, forgetting that one after again the NC State one 2 years ago. But he's reloaded. He's reloaded. I don't think the roster is nearly as intimidating as it was a year ago, but it's still good enough to get back to the Final Four, maybe even finally win another national title, RC? Yes? No? Where are you?
Let's be honest. They knew in the summertime when you went up there, they knew they had something pretty special in last year's group. Like you knew, provided we stay healthy, we got a chance at hanging a banner. The one thing I thought they tried to camouflage that we all talked about that ultimately caught up with them in the end, in my opinion, is point guard play and having a guy to just get open, get the ball, just the minor things that point guards just do. I just thought that that was something that they camouflaged. They were so good. They camouflaged, and ultimately, in the biggest moments, it caught up with them throughout the year. I've said this many times. Duke has just out recruited everybody for the best player in a class for the most part. Not saying Arkansas and Kansas and these other guys, but the guy of the class, somewhat they seem to always get. Whether it's this year the Boozer twins, last year obviously with Cooper Flag. Um, they're always going to be dependent upon how good that is. How good is the class?
Yeah.
Will dictate as of right now the way Duke is. Can they? I thought they crushed the Porter a year ago. I thought everything was perfect for Duke to set up and win a championship this year. This year, depth is a problem, be a little bit different, but I think we've kind of found a niche the way Shire wants to play, and that's positional size. He likes the big guys, guards, team. Uh, can Patrick Gamba be the rim protector that Malawach was? We don't know, but he's probably a little bit better on the offensive end. They're going to be really good, really skilled. Um, I like their
So,
depth.
so my question to you, let's start with your question a year ago. My
Yes.
question a year ago
Yep.
was point guard play. Now, I they got Caleb Foster back, which was
Right.
huge because if he had gone in the portal and gone somewhere else, I think it would have been a splash. But by getting him back and give the kid credit because
Yes.
he could have, probably should have. I mean, 99% of the kids that were in his situation, right? Freshman year had a really good year, took a step back last season, came out at the end. But for the most part, it was a disappointing year for Caleb Foster as a
Right.
sophomore. And
Right.
instead of saying, you know what, I'm gonna do what 99% of the other kids do, I'm gonna try a different spot. He said, I'm gonna come back. And my guess is part of his return was, hey, we're going to give you the first opportunity to be the starting point guard this year. I don't know if he's a point guard. I think the better move might be just hand Kaden Boozer, Cameron Boozer's brother, the ball as a freshman. What say you about that scenario?
I do. I agree with you. I credit him for coming back um, because his minutes changed everybody else. And I think that's credit to him and credit to Shire for being able to talk him into staying. I think it's one of the reasons I felt good about their offseason. They needed him. It doesn't put so much pressure on Caden to come in and be the guy. So they have the position covered because, again, Caden has positional size. We know he's a big guard, a big time point guard, and they're winners. We know the Boozer twins are winners, and that's not going to change. So they're going to have, to me, I think they have the best of both worlds. Caden, to me, falls into that category point guard play.
Yeah,
If you had him a year ago, I think you win a national championship.
yeah, yeah.
I think he wins the national championship because he's going to do all the little things that naturally that you just can't teach. More than point guard is just bringing the ball up, calling plays, and things of that nature. He does that naturally. Again, Foster comes back. I'm interested to see how he responds because it's been up and down. He knows what it takes now. He's got a guy backing him up, and if he doesn't get the job done, then he'll move off the ball, and then it'll be Caden's show. So they've covered their bases on both ends of the floor. It's why I'm high on the team because of the depth. I think the quality, the depth of this team, they're going to shoot the crap out the basketball again, their positional size. But to keep those guys from transferring, I thought it was big. I mean, not just Malik Brown being hurt, and with the shoulder injury, but even a guy like Darren Harris. I think people don't remember how talented he was, a big guard that can really shoot it,
Yep.
and for that guy to sit and just wait his turn and then come back. For Duke, winning the portal, I mean, winning the portal was keeping their guys from going in the portal that
Retention.
didn't play, that people were worried about what's coming in. I thought them retaining their guys was equally as impressive as worrying about the devil you don't know. They know what they got, and I like what they've done.
So 4 state titles and
Yes,
winning the under 15, under 16, and under
that,
17 Peach Jam.
come
That's
on,
what
man.
the Boozers have done. It's unprecedented,
Let's win,
obviously. All they do is win. So
win.
I keep going back to that. I go back to like, all right, you can break down, again, we know like Kaden Boozer is just a well-rounded point guard who can make shots when he needs to. He can run the team. Obviously, his relationship with his brother on the court is incredible. Um, Cameron Boozer could be the best player in college basketball this year. Could be. Like he
I do.
averaged 20 and 10 at the Peach Jam, which is again the preeminent, summer tournament every year. Can he average? I remember you and I saying last year at ACC Media Day, going through Cooper Flagg's numbers, and we
Right.
both were like, if the kid averages 15, 7, and 4, that's like a National
Yes,
Player of the Year type year.
and he
And he blew
exceeded.
that away. He blew
He
that
exceeded.
away. Like scoring, we were both like, he's not going to average more. He's just not a scorer.
Yeah.
Okay, so can Cameron Boozer, why can't he average 18 and 9 next year for Duke? I mean, he is a walking double double every time we've seen him. And he's expanded his game. Now he
Yes.
can step out and shoot the three. He doesn't rely on it.
No.
Like, who do you compare him to, RC? Like, is there somebody that you compare him to that you're just like, the kid just every game he produces, he doesn't have an off game ever.
You know why he doesn't have an off game? Because he started out punishing guys inside where it's like, all right, as a younger kid. And then it's like, all right, if I want to make it to the NBA, I can't be this run to the post guy, turn overpower guys. I got to develop. And we just saw him continuously get better and better, a la Cooper Flag. But for him, it was by the time they won their 17s, he was their best shooter. He was the most consistent percentage wise. He was the best shooter on the team. So we've watched him continue to go that way. So I don't know if I remember a player like that with him in a long time, in the sense of he was an interior guy. He emulated his dad. He emulated his dad going inside, being a low post guy, face up a little bit. Now he's up to shooting at a high percentage of
Could he
three.
be like an Al Horford type? Like that
I don't
type
think
of
he's as
guy?
big though, right? I don't know if he's
Not as
big.
wide.
He's
He's
not as
not as
big
wide.
physically as that. That's what I'm saying. He's not as physically as
But
big as a
Al
guy.
expanded his range.
Yes.
Al was very understated in
Yes.
how he played and how mature Al was. I guess I'm comparing them overall in terms of like they were quiet, but they always
Did the job.
produced. Yeah.
It's a fair comparison to Al Horford but Al Horford did that in the NBA. Like recently now, people know him nowadays as this stretch five,
Yeah.
but that wasn't what he always
No,
was.
no.
So the comparison is very valid with that. Um, I love it because in college it's going to translate really well because he's going to punish you. You're not going to be able to switch. You tried to switch a guard on Cooper Flag and he just would go to the mid post, even though he destroy you. Cam will do it differently. One, he's gonna mangle you on the glass if you try to put a guard on him. You got no shot at rebounding the basketball. So he presents a matchup problem. He's a really good passer. And again, there's just so much talent around him. Again, you're not gonna be able to just sit around and double him with the shooting they had, perimeter that they have. I think Patrick Gamba will be really, really good for these guys. Another year, he's finally healthy, able to have a full offseason and practice.
Well,
I think
do you think they'll play together a lot, or do you think I mean, you got Malik Brown too up front, so you got those
right,
three guys. I think
right,
splitting probably 80 minutes out
right,
of the 4 or 5, right?
right.
Most likely.
But they're gonna take all the minutes, I think, at the 4 and 5, the majority of it. And we know what Malik Brown is. I mean, he'll be to me a defensive player, ACC defensive player of the year caliber guy. Um, they'll definitely play those three guys together. And you play, he balances out either one. So when you want to put Patrick Gomba inside, he faces up, he stretches the defense, he shoots the three well. When you put Malik Brown in and you want to post him some, they just have such versatility in his roster again,
Yeah.
right? And again, it's just going to be centered around Cam Boozer and his ability to screen and roll. How do you want to guard it? You're not going to switch five with these guys because again, he destroys you inside. You try to double the shooting they have. It's just same thing on over again. I don't know if Cam is um takes the steps that Cooper has, but I see no reason to think that he wouldn't. I just am seeing his growth, just like I saw the same growth in Cooper. They're different. He's not Cooper defensively, but offensively, he's just figures out a way more balanced scorer. He's not trying to be a point forward that made Cooper kind of developed into. He knows what he is. I think they'll be more efficient offensively because of it.
And they're similar. I would say this Cam and Caden are similar to Cooper in that they don't really say a word. They
No,
don't want attention. They just want to play ball
I
and
hoop.
win.
I want to
Uh,
hoop.
all right, so up front, we like Duke. I mean,
Yeah.
how can you not? How can you not like those three guys up front? Point guard play, a little bit questionable. Like you said, you got two options. On the wing is where that might be maybe their biggest strength at the end of the day. Because you got
No, of
Isaiah
course.
Evans, who we both expect, and I think everybody expects. All I remember is when I was there for the Auburn game, and the kid hit six threes and went for 18 points in the first half and basically saved them from losing to Auburn at Cameron. He is super talented. He's long. He shoots the hell out of it. He can put it on the floor some. Now, again, strength will be an issue still. But man, Isaiah Evans might be their highest. Can I say that? He's their high. Like Boozer is going to get drafted higher, I would think, but maybe not. Like Isaiah Evans could be a guy who works his way into lottery in the top 10 next year, couldn't he?
I don't see why it would at that size and the way he shoots it. I think it's definitely length and flexibility with there on the wing. They have so much depth, the quality of depth there, where I think it is a strength, and it's why we talked about. I think they checked every box. They covered themselves from a year ago. We question point guard play. We don't question that this year. Whether we think Caleb Foster is the point guard or not, we know Caden is.
Yep.
Like that box is checked.
Yep.
So that puts pressure on Caleb Foster to say, hey, we trust you coming out of the gate if he earns it. Because again, we're talking about Caden coming through the door. So I think they're balanced, all three phases, interior wing, perimeter on the point guard play. And like you said, I think on the wing with Dame Sarr and these guys, I think they have the length, versatility offensively and defensively. They're going to get after you. Um, the question that I always say about Shire, and which I admire about him, is he makes these guys they have to earn it to play. He didn't care about that. You have to earn it.
Right. Your
So it's
ranking
a
means
big
nothing.
doesn't care, and I love that about him. He sticks to that. It's like so people get to complaining about a guy like like last year when Darren Harris didn't play, Isaiah Evans didn't play early, and then he got forced. He got in
Caleb
and
Foster. Again,
Caleb
Caleb
Foster, like you
Foster.
play, sit down. So I love that about him. I think it sent the message to those guys. If those guys can raise their level to what he expects, and we all expect him to do so, with these freshmen coming in, we know the Boozer twins do nothing but win and compete. That's all Shire's raved about. I love their depth. I think this team will get better like everyone else. And again, they have another team they could win Final Four potential.
If you haven't heard by now, we have partnered with BetMGM for the season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FIELD. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you'll receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Go download the BetMGM app and use the code FIELD today.
You mentioned Sarr from Italy, played in Spain,
Right.
kind of a versatile wing that I'm not sure what he does elite. I think he does everything well. I think he
Right.
just does everything well at this point. You can put him in there. Obviously, he's played at a high level internationally, so I think there'll be an adjustment, but not a huge one. He's not coming over though as a, it's going to take some time because some of these international kids are coming over 21, 22 years old. He's
Right.
not that,
He's not.
right?
He's not. He's not.
So it's going to take a little bit of time, but I think this Duke team, the expectations for pretty much every Duke team are what? To go to the Final Four and have a chance to cut down the nets and win the national title. And I think there's nothing different this year. Again, you don't have Cooper Flagg, a guy that, I mean, the difference with Boozer and Flagg, you mentioned it earlier, is you could put the ball in Flagg's hands and just say, go make a.
Don't give me a bucket.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
And
you
it's different, but it'll be different, right? This will be different in the sense of how you get Cam the ball, but you got Caden, you got it. This is a more the only flaw that Duke team we talked about was point guard play. That's been checked. And they don't have the size of a guy like Cooper Flagg. He was a nightmare matchup with his motor and everything else. We know what Cooper is. But I like the depth of this team. Like I think Patrick Gamba is a better offensive player on the inside than Malawach. I think there's more guys. We talked
Sure.
about Sarr. He's
Yep.
not elite anything. He doesn't have to be. But him coming off the bench as a backup wing, it's better than most guys have coming off their bench as a backup wing. It's more power. It's not Cooper Flagg and Con Nipple offensively and then other guys trying to find their way. I think this group just it's a power of numbers. And I just think the matchup guy will be Cam, and it's just different of how you guard him. They're going to defend. They're going to be really good defensively. I don't know if they're going to be as good because of the other guys that they lost to, and Sion
Well, they
James.
won't be. They won't be because they don't have the rim protection.
No, they don't have the
Same
rim protect.
way,
Exactly.
right? With
Exactly.
Lively and with
Yes.
Malawach, they had in Shire's first couple of years, they've had two of the best rim protectors in college basketball. They're not going to have that this year, but they'll be good. They'll be good defensively. What's your X factor? If you had to pull an X factor, I mean, for me, it's point guard play. It's which way you're going. Is Caden going to be ready quickly? Is Foster going to be a guy that they go with for a while and then it maybe doesn't work at the point they move him back off the ball? To me, I don't see any other major questions. Again, the wings are really good and the wings really mesh together, right? Evans and Sarr are very different. So I love that. The bigs are different, and you got three of them. Malik Brown's a great team guy who just buys into his role. So
Right.
to me, it comes down to point guard play. Again,
I don't worry about point guard play because to me, when Duke has won national championships, they've been solid at that position with a tough guy that runs the team, not a
can he be
scoring
like a Tyus?
like a
Can
Tyus Jones, like a Bobby Hurley.
yeah.
When they've won, they've had, the majority of the time they've had that position solidified. I think they covered their bases with that. That's what Caden is.
Yeah.
He's improved his jump shot, but he's steady. He's gonna get to his spots. He's a ball mover. Everybody's gonna get it. Duke's problem is not going to be a problem scoring a basketball. They're going to score. They're going to have more balance of how they score
Yeah.
this year. They're going to be able to throw it inside a little bit more. They won't be, I think, elite. Like last year, they were elite defensively and just destroyed everybody on the defense, like switching. I think they'll have the same switching ability, it just won't have the rim protection.
So what's
They'll
your X factor? Is it defense?
I think it's defense. I think it's defensively. I don't worry about. I think it's how will they adapt? Because I think Shire loves rim protection. I don't think they have it, but I do think they'll have the ability to switch five guys. Which one of these wings
Yeah.
steps up and says, "Hey, I'm going to take the other guy's best guy." So I think it's defense. Does everybody sacrifice offensively? Just the ball to find the open guys. Too much talent. But how good is this group collectively defensively? Will dictate how far they go. Offensively, I think they check every box. Point guard play. If Caleb doesn't work out, then all he has to become is a backup point guard, which is serviceable. He can do that. We know he can do that. Caden, we know is a winner, and his connection with his brother will be there. So it'll be a little different, but the depth of this team, if they've earned the right, look out. If they earn Shai's trust and he's playing 8 to 10 guys consistently, then we know Duke has something.
Yeah, we haven't even mentioned the kid Nicholas Kamania, who I know
No,
Shire loves, coming off the bench from I think Harvard Westlake, 6'8", can shoot at high IQ. He'll figure in the rotation as well. I think he'll probably be the eighth man to start, maybe, but who knows? He could be far more than that as the season
yeah,
goes
who
along.
knows?
All right. This segment is off-season grades, so that means you got to give him a grade.
I'm gonna give him a B. I'm gonna give him a B plus.
Okay.
I love what they, and the reason why I say I don't want to say A, but I love that he was able to retain his guys that didn't play. And this time, these guys were offered money, a little bit of time, a ton of money to go somewhere else. Credit to the young men that came back, and credit to Shire and his staff for getting those guys to come back. It was more about what they retained than what they brought in from the portal to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go B plus too. Did a great job, obviously, getting the Boozers. That was huge, especially a lot of people were scared after Jay Lucas got the job down in Miami. They're from Miami. He hired their high school coach. So you're able to keep those guys, keep Isaiah Evans. I still want to see how this Caleb Foster thing works out. And then you got Dame Sarr late, which was critical after they lost Cedric Coward, who
Right.
they'd signed from Washington State. And then he went and stayed in the NBA draft. Our expectations, last thing, or your prediction, not expectations.
Right.
Your prediction for this Duke team is what?
I expect him to be right at the very top of the ACC. Help provided as everybody else. I think they're talented enough to win the league again. I am concerned a little bit about the experience factor. If Caleb Foster doesn't take a step like we expect him to from a leadership standpoint, I thought last year that was the job of the transfers coming in and what they already retained. This year they're back to being relatively young, still sophomore guys and freshman guys. So it's a really, really young group, but they get battle tested early. So my concern is just the experience level of them taking their lumps early if there's any doubt amongst themselves. But defensively is just the key to me. That's it. Everything else, I think they covered. They're too talented, too much depth. They're not relying on one guy to shoot it or anything else. There's too much, I think validated points that we know who they are. Can they be really good to elite defensively is the only question mark I have for them. I think they'll be right there at the top of the league. I think they'll win the ACC.
Yeah, I do too. And I keep going back to it. I'm like, all right, they're probably going to be a Final Four-ish caliber team, right? Elite Eight, Final Four. And then I keep saying to myself, yeah, I don't know if they have enough to win the whole thing. And then I say to myself, well, like the Boozers, all they do is win the whole thing.
All they do is
All they
win.
do is
Like how do
win.
you go against those guys?
I
Like that's
know.
them with talent around them. It's not like we're talking about. There's
No.
not.
I
There's
kind of
just
want to pick him to win it all, which
yeah,
I don't know how many people are going to do that. I think everybody's going to, Purdue,
yeah,
Houston,
yeah,
and you almost want to be an outlier just
yeah.
going on the fact that like I'm just going to hitch my wagon to the Boozers because we've seen it so often, right?
Mm,
You and
right,
I have seen them every.
right.
I mean, they play now. Again, they were more talented than Cooper Flag's
Everybody.
main AAU teams, but every time they beat them, they beat Cooper Flag every single time.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to go Duke. Still the jury out. I'm going to pick them to win the ACC. Pick him to go to the Final Four. I may pick him to win it all. I don't
I'm
know.
gonna wait on that. It's early. We got time. We got time. We haven't even kicked off a football season yet.
Exactly.
I'm gonna
Exactly.
wait until we see them in person. We get to go up, watch them practice, watch them work out. We knew they had it a year ago. The buzz around there. I don't think it's quite there yet, but like I said, come September, we'll see.
We will see. And hopefully we'll see at some point John Shire will stop ducking me in pickleball because he has been
He's
ducking me.
got to practice. He's got to practice. He's got to practice, Jeff. He
I
ain't
mean,
ready yet.
something's going on here. I just think honestly he's overrated. I've heard from some people
Could
that
be.
he's kind of promoted himself as this elite pickleball player and he's just overrated. So we're gonna find out. We will find out at some point.
I'm
But
gonna
there you
call him out
have
on
it.
it when I see it. When I see him, I'm gonna call him out on it in person.
All right, Duke, B plus from both of us, off-season grades. Again, make sure to catch all of our off-season grades. We do about 45 of these on YouTube, Field of 68. Make sure you catch them all summer.